I love playing with paper, and all of my videos so far, not all, most of them have been with watercolor, because I also love that too. But I like making these banners, and I have made several over the years that are, the last couple of years, I should say, and I have the idea that ultimately I'm going to make a bunch of Easter ones and string them all together. Same thing with the 4th of July and Halloween. I made 2 Halloween. So I'm in the middle right now of making a Valentine's one. And this is some really old, like, Kewpie pie kind of paper, Tim Holtz, and then I did a little embossing and stuff there. And then I have a big old stamp thing here. Each of the colors has their own envelope. And all I did was just cut a shape and then I covered it in, obviously, I'm explaining the obvious here. But I did do a little bit of foam tape here to pop this guy up a little bit. And of course I stitched, as you can see. So now I've got to decide on my focal point. So I'm just going to bring you along with me while I do that. Okay, so I've been working to get some things together and came across these chipboard hearts in my stash. And they're pretty thick, pretty good size. And you know, I'm trying to use my stuff. And I have quite a bit of them. I have both, you know, a couple different shapes. This traditional shape, and then the more, and I like this one. So I cut out some different heart papers. Just pulled some scrapbook papers, and you know, I played around with, do I like that, or do I like that? And you know, pulled out some old Seven Gypsies papers. I've had that paper forever. And then, you know, some mechanical stuff, just to try to give a little different, you know, feel to the heart. But I think I settled back on this. I even played around with, I had cut this out. Golly, all this stuff is just covered in embossing powder. It's driving me crazy. I was playing around with antique linen embossing powder, distress glaze rather. And I feel like I got sand everywhere. I feel like I just came back from the beach. Anyway, I was playing around with layering it, trying to get like a rusty effect. I was kind of thinking initially about doing like a heart with a, you know, cut or broken and then repaired, almost like a rustic version of kintsugi, if you're familiar with that Japanese repair, where they put things back together and they celebrate the repair instead of trying to hide it. But anyway, so then I did this one, and I didn't dislike it, and then I started playing around. I took some scraps, and I pulled out lumberjack plaid, and I pulled the scrap from this heart, you know, where I cut it out, and I put some red glaze on that. But that was like too much, and I was like, no. So then I put multiple layers of the antique linen on this little bitty piece there, just to kind of see how layering it would go. And that, I really liked the look of that. So that's when I did this. But getting it to cover evenly was a challenge. This little bitty piece was super easy. Love it. Wonderful. I will do that again. The multiple, that's I think 3 coats there, 3 coats. But it was tough, and I actually like the uneven quality of this heart here in spots. I don't dislike it. So then I went and cut another. I mean, I had cut like 5 or 6 of these hearts, and this was like a ledger paper, and I did like 3 or 4 layers of the antique linen, and I embraced the unevenness of it, and I edged it with a little bit of scorched timber distress ink. And then I took some speckled egg. I did some rust alcohol ink. Just kind of smudged that around and inked, or let that heat up. You can see it's really shiny. And I was kind of going for like a Louisa Heinzel did a thing last week. I don't know when this is going to publish. I'd say that. She did a live with Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, and she accidentally discovered this technique where she overglazed 3 or 4 times or layered, and then she did some rust alcohol ink, and then she splattered speckled egg, and it makes this really cool. And then you heat it, and the embossing powder glaze, it bubbles up and it likes this embeds. The paint's not on the surface anymore. I wish you could have feel-o-vision. It's really got a lot of texture to it, but it ends up embedding into the Distress glaze, and I really like it. But then I put it here, and I wasn't sure if I liked it so much. I love it. I'm going to keep it. I'll use it in something else. So now I'm back to this. I've laid out some other things. I laid out some, years ago, Tim made some, these tokens, flare they're called, and I have a little flare button machine, and I started making my own. So I took some of my jelly prints and started making my own flare. That's one of his there too. So I laid these out, and then I found these in my stash from last year. And I thought, okay, I got these. And then I have some metal hearts over here. Not metal hearts, metal wings. And then I have these other metal hearts. Oh, I also grabbed some of those wooden these. I have several, like 3 or 4 packages of these guys, right? And so I pulled a couple of these guys out. This one I painted ahead of time, put some paint on, and then I did multiple layers on it, and really probably ought to try to fix that. That's like a smudge. This I did raw without painting it ahead of time. I'm not real sure that you experience a lot of difference. The hard part about this, I'm trying to find my tweezers, but my desk you would not believe. Well, maybe you would, but anyway. I was taking the tweezers and I was tweezing it from the underside, right? And then I would heat it, and then I would dip it in the embossing glaze, and I used lumberjack plaid, distressed lumberjack plaid for this. Super bright red, as you can see, perfect color for Valentine's. And I would heat it, and then I would dip it back in the powder, and then, you know, tap it and then heat it again. It just obviously didn't take evenly. It has this like a light enamel look to it. This is the one I did not paint, and I'm not mad about that one at all. In fact, I could possibly use this one here, but I don't know. So I just have some options sitting out here. So I decided, oh, finally found my tweezers. Here they are. These are the squeezers, I think some people call them. And you just, I like them because you don't have to hold it. Once you put them on, you can just, you don't have to, like, your hand doesn't have to grip it tight. That way you can do it and do it. And of course I had it flush. Okay, so where are we now? I still plan on making this go flat, I think. Flush mount to the previous pennant, which is popped up slightly on some craft foam. I don't use foam squares on these. I just use craft foam now, white craft foam or black craft foam. Then I thought I would pop this up, but then I was thinking, okay, pulled this guy out. Together is my favorite place to be. And I was like, well, that's okay, but this is where I was before I turned the camera back on. I thought, you know, oh my gosh, y'all, if you know me at all, the sand of the embossing stuff drives me nuts. I hate the beach too. I like it while I'm in it, but when I'm out, I want to be off, all the sand's gone. So like there's just grit everywhere. Anyway, I thought I would put that there. And then I thought that gave some nice dimension. Obviously I got to cover this. And I'll put that there. And I thought, okay, we're getting better. And my thought was I need to put down some teal. I need some turquoise here. I need, you know, there's some teal back here. And so I was just digging in my teal papers. I have this whole little folder full of teal, all things teal. And I thought, well, I'll just turn the camera back on. I am not exactly sure what I'm going to use just yet. I might use something simple like this. And you know what? The only way to know for sure is to do it, right? Right, so we'll move that out of the way. Hopefully I know where my pencil is. Yep, pencil's right here. So, you know, this is kindergarten 101 right here. trace and cut. It's just, and I think the only way to know is just to cut it out and see, and then if it doesn't work, you just use it for something else, right? Put it in your box of fussy cut, or your basket of fussy cut whatevers, and then use it later for something else. I just feel like if I put another red, I'm just gonna be redded out, and I do love teal. Whoops, I'm not even showing it. And could I use some nicer scissors in this? Meaning, don't have a serration. These scissors are great, but they do have a serration on them. But I don't care. I can edge them, and I just want to see if this is going to work before I get too worked up about it. I'm just going to cut this off camera. You know how to cut. This is just a simple little heart shape. Traced it with a pencil, and now I love these scissors, don't get me wrong. It's just they're not always great for fussy cutting. But they'll work for now. Ooh. Okay, so now back to, oops, come over you. Now back to this. Do we like this? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it ties back into the teal in here, so I do like that. Okay, so let's ink these guys up. The scorch timber is so strong. It is quite a presence and a force to be reckoned with. And what, you know what though? I think what I might do first is grab a little salvage patina and darken. Boy, this is messy crafting tonight, people. I am not proud of my desk at the moment. And I am going to, when this is done, have to de-louse the area from all the embossing powder, because it just blew everywhere at times. I didn't always remember to knock off the excess, and I'd have it blowing across the room. Imagine that. Me. Alright, that's some little salvage patina. I just like to deepen that a little before I... Alright, now, what did I do with my other... Of course I've lost it. In this mess... Ah, here we go. How could one be expected to find anything? What I do is I take this little guy and I just edge this, because I don't want to be bothered painting this. That's just... Ain't nobody got time to fool with that. It's quick, especially if you've got a juicy ink pad like I do, because this scorched timber is a new color. And it hasn't had the workout that some of my other colors have. And I have not glued these down, obviously. But now I'm going to just barely touch the edge of this guy. And it's going to show all the places I didn't cut it very well. But that's okay, because I probably have a millimeter too wide on it. And once I put it on the heart, I may have a little overage I have to trim. And then I may top it in some, you know, matte medium or something to seal it. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so let's do a little dry. Let's do a little dry run, test run, dress rehearsal. I may pop that up, the stamp banner. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm liking that, but it still needs something. I feel like I need some fiber. I know I've got the string here, I get that, but I still feel like I need something. I've got metal. I could put some more metal on. I could put, that's just too bright. That's too sweet, and it's round, and the hearts are round, and I like this because it's oval. I really liked these wings, but I'm just not sure. And I could, okay. That almost works, doesn't it? Okay. I don't know. Feels a little something. It's not quite it. It's almost. Okay, so what's next? Not sure. Maybe I need to clean up a little bit and then figure it out, because this is almost. But we're here. No, these are definitely not it. Sorry. Another time you get to play. Yeah, that's just too much. These are old. And I don't think either of these works either. The other thought I had was that I could just, I could put this up here. Together is my favorite place to be. Yep. And then I could do that, which I don't hate that. But it still feels very, very structured. It needs some softness. It needs some cheesecloth or some ribbon or something. So let me go dig in my stash and I'll be back. Oh, okay, I think I found it. I went and rummaged through my stash and I found some of this trim. I think it's going to be just about enough. And I'm going to go around the outside of this. I'm not a big lace person in my crafting life, but I think, you know, doilies and lace are kind of an integral part of a Valentine's theme. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the back and get these all glued up, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got that lace on and it's really being persnickety, so I'm having to, I had to use I just grabbed what I have handy, and it's art glitter glue, and so I'm using some binder clips and letting that set up for a second. And now I'm gonna glue the turquoise guy here, and I'm gonna have to refill this bottle soon because I'm getting to the bottom. And then we're gonna assemble and call this project for 2025 done. And this heart, this paper turquoise overlay, is slightly bigger than my chipboard, but I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Now, I know I've got the lace there, but I still thought that there ought to be some more fabric, softness. So I went into my sewing room and I grabbed up some stuff out of my trash. There's some stuff I'm working on in there, and so I thought, you know, I'm just going to put that on top and then put that underneath, and I love that. So, yeah, we're just going to attach these guys, and hopefully that lace will be down here in a second. Around the heart, you know, with that curvy part, you just got to give it some time to set up. Fabri-Tac would be great. Wish I knew where mine was. Well, I do know where it is, but it's a new bottle and it's one of the big ones. And once you open that thing, unless you're about to work on a big project, you really need to think, because it starts drying out. The air gets in it, starts drying out almost immediately. So I try not to open it until I'm ready to use it for something big. So for something like this, nope, not going to open it. All right. So just put a little, yeah, these came out of my little trash bin in my sewing, next to my sewing machine. Sure did. And I realized I broke the needle tip off of my, I throw it on the tip. It's on the end of my needle. It's right there. Instead of being right there. Because when I put it back on, I'm like, well, it looks like it's supposed to, because the little metal nozzly tip is there, but when you take the needle off, it's still, I glued it to the, that's some good glue. Okay, so give that a couple more seconds to dry. My next project that I'm working on is up here. I love collage, and I started making these. This is a master board that I just cut it up, and I think I'm going to make like a little Valentine booklet. It's just on whatever backing I had at the moment. But anyway, I love these, and so they're sitting here because they're kind of my next thing to work on. And then I've got this other little guy over here where I've started, and yeah, these are projects I pulled out of my Valentine stash. But okay, let's see. Are we stuck enough? Hopefully so. I need to cut this actually. This was just in my stash, and I don't have any idea where I got it. I think I may have gotten it at Joann's or Hobby, and then I think I may have tea-dyed it, if I remember, because that's why it's a little crumply. Because those things come out, they're so bright white, you know. Those laces from those, you know, not the dollar bins, but you know, they're like $2 or $3 and they're half off or whatever. Okay, let's see if this is going to be enough here. Go away. Go away. All right. I'm liking that. I'll still need to put some grommets in here to hang it. I don't actually have to put the grommets in right now, so let's go ahead and assemble. I'm not going to pop up anymore because by the time you have these two hearts, the two pieces of chipboard, that is plenty. Okay, come on, art glitter glue, let's do it. Oh, she's getting thick too, and she's coming out with that bigger tip. I do not know how I managed to do that. But I did. Okay. Stand up for this part. The nice part about art glitter glue, yes, the pen is in my mouth, so I don't lose it, is that it has a really fast, as Tim would say, it has the drying time of now, and that is accurate. Okay, I really like my stamp background. T.S. Eliot's going to get covered up, but it's okay, I know he's there. Alright, so now let's, oh, see, that's not quite dry, but I'm hoping, you know what, I may have to get a bit more serious about what glue I'm using here. What other options do I have? I actually have, I have some gel medium somewhere, and that's really what would be best for this scenario. Nope, that's not it. It would help if I was more organized, wouldn't it? Okay, gel medium, where are you? Not medium. Aha! Matte gel, that's what I want for this. Okay. Let's grab a doolally, and we are going to smear the heck out of this. We're going to give this plenty of time to dry, and yet, Mr. Lace, you're going to have to behave. Yes, you are. I'm not going to give you a choice. I probably rushed it a little, if I'm honest. Should have let it dry for a little bit, but... Okay. Then I'll probably put something heavy on it and let it dry overnight. And that might not be centered, but you know what? I might not care. And then since we got the matte gel out, we might as well just go ahead and... I like these little silicone spatulas because you don't have to worry about your brush getting all gummed up, and they clean up really easy. All you gotta do is wait for the stuff to dry and you peel it off like Elmer's glue. If you don't manage to make a mess out of it. Apparently I'm messy tonight. Okay. You go over here for a minute. We're gonna put this one. Yep, I got it all over my fingers. I sure do. And I got a bunch of glob right there. It dries clear, the matte gel does. So but I just try to be a little cleaner than I have been. It's alright, I can clean that up. And I'm going to call that banner done. So we've got some stitching, we've got some embossing, we've got some collaging of stamps and all kinds of extra fun going on here. It's all done on a pretty, and I'll probably back this with another piece of black just to cover up the stitching and to, you know, reinforce it and make it thicker. And then we'll hang it up. So thanks for stopping by. I'm going to let this guy dry overnight and take some pictures for the close-ups at the end, or the whatever thumbnail at the beginning, and we're going to call this project finished. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you again soon. Bye.